Harris campaign pulls millions in ad spending in North Carolina amid surge of Republican early votes. This is massive. Ad Impact Politics says yesterday Kamala Harris campaign placed new NC poll ad reservations totaling 2.7 for the final week of the election. This morning, the campaign is cutting from those reservations. So far, we've seen over $2 million removed from North Carolina markets. This is massive. Citing numbers from Ad Impact, the Journal reported Harris will focus her energy and her campaign's war chest on Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill areas. Per the outlet, polling shows that Harris and Trump are tied at 47 in the state. Trump won its 15 electoral votes in 2016 and 2020. Barack Obama, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I asked our good friend ChatGPT to pull up to calculate the bias of the polls. Swing states in 2016 and in 2020 had a pro-Democrat bias of 4 to 7 points. For whatever reason, we don't know. If any amount of that bias still exists, any amount, 0.1, Trump wins all the swing states. Actually, save Michigan now. I think it's Michigan. Let me actually pull this one up. It's Michigan now, where Harris has a lead by 0.5. So if the bias exists by at least 0.5, Trump is winning or at least tied in Michigan. I think the bias is still there. I think the pollsters have no idea what they're talking about. When, a really good example of the bias is Stephen Marsh. Respect the guy, but he's wrong. He wrote the book on the next Civil War. He wrote a book called The Last Election with Andrew Yang. We've had him on a couple times. He sees the obvious, the division, the conflict, the fighting, the escalation of tensions. And then he says it's the right wing's fault because white supremacist sovereign citizens are going around. And I'm like, where? When? Where's the news of these stories? Where's the great marches? They're not happening. But he lives in CNN and MSNBC. Mm-hmm. This is what happens when people, and these pollsters live in this world. So the other question everyone always asks is, who's getting polled? We never see this. And you never will because they only poll 1,000 people. The betting markets, I say a lot more about the wisdom of the crowd. And the betting markets say Donald Trump is going to win this week.
Yeah, but I found that fascinating because I went to Vegas and I literally put that question to everyone. Like, who do you want to win? Who do you bet's going to win? Most people were betting Trump, even those who were saying that they wanted Kamala to win, which is what I expected from the markets. But then when I was reading the mainstream media here, they were explaining away why the markets are, and then the explanation makes zero sense.
Let me ask you this question. When you ask someone, who do you think is going to win? And they say Trump. Then you ask them, who do you want to win? They say Kamala. Do you think that person is motivated to go vote?
Yeah, I would say they're motivated to vote.
I think that shows...
You think the opposite?
I think it shows a lesser motivation. I think a lot of these people who are saying, yeah, Trump's probably going to win. So that resignation and a loss of morale is indicative of them likely saying on election day, what's the point?
Which is sad.
Trump voters.
I don't know if I agree with that because I think I'm just trying to go over. Those are literally the questions I've been asking, and I'm pretty sure most of those that gave me those answers were saying they were voting, and they really are hoping and praying she wins, but they think she's lost.
I still think that isn't. This is why people fear. So the reason why people believe the pollsters are biased. Trump supporters were saying the polls are wrong. They're trying to demoralize you so that you feel like there's no point in voting.
Right.
And so it can go either way for sure. But I would put it this way. I think that resignation is indicative of probably not going to win. Some people are going to say, I don't know, what's the point? This is the issue also Trump has when he's doing well in the polls. You have to be like, don't. But Trump supporters are
motivated.
Yeah, they're motivated is an easy.
Like you go to the difference. That's what I noticed. The difference at a Trump rally and in New York compared to today here. It's like there's no energy in the air outside in the lineup to the rally. I'm talking about even just the lineup. In New York, it was popping off in that so-called Nazi rally, which was like 60% freaking Jews. Like it was like they were putting the tefillin on me in the line. These like ultra-Orthodox Jews were like wrapping me up with tefillin. And I'm like, dude, this is a Nazi rally. Don't you know about this? And but the energy, just the amount of excitement, the chanting.
Well, It shows tremendous progress among Nazis that they were flying Israeli flags.
Yeah, exactly.
I also love how J.D. Vance backs up this notion of what we're talking about, where he's like, we cannot become complacent. We cannot become lazy. You have to get out. You have to vote.
Because I know that.
He's such a good pick for VP.
In Super Bowl 51, the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead against the Patriots.
I remember that.
The Patriots had 3 points at the half. The Falcons blew the lead. Do not get complacent. Do not think that Kamala Harris can't come from behind, no matter how down bad she seems, her campaign seems. If you don't go out and vote, Donald Trump will lose.
That's why.
And then
You must go out and vote.
Your wife leaves for the jujitsu instructor and has a kid.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Tim, that's the exact reason why I actually would argue that it's the opposite to what you were saying. That I think that when people think they're losing, they're more, if they care, they're more likely to go vote. If they think they've already got it in the bag, they're just going to go, well, the other person's going to do it and we won.
I don't agree. This is why it's so important to convince soldiers in combat that you are winning, because you fear a retreat.
Yeah.
People are going to run screaming. And my favorite example, of course, is not from real life, but from the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson, where the rebels break ranks and then he grabs the flag and says, "Charge, run," and then he storms in and they win, and that proves it.
Good analogy. I accept that one.
It's my favorite movie.
Good Hollywood reference. I like
Yeah. Mel Gibson is based, and that movie is
Very
awesome.
based.
I guess it can be both. I don't know.
No, it is. There's a fear that if the polls are too good in one direction, like this happened with Hillary Clinton, everybody's like, she's going to win. What's the point?
Yeah.
But that was the media saying she had a 99% chance to win.
Oh, that was.
Right now, they're saying Kamala's at, it's a tie. We don't know. Trump's got a 10% edge. 538's giving him 10 points, and Nate Silver's giving him 10 points. The Economist is getting RCP. They're all giving him a 10-point advantage in forecasting, not in the polls. This is a lot of people being like, how do you overcome that number in a week?
Mm-hmm.
But look, Kamala Harris is pulling her spending from North Carolina. This is a major swing state.
Can I ask you that the markets during Clinton, what were they saying?
I don't think we had the markets back then.
Oh, you weren't able to bet.
It's illegal right now. Only Kalshi is Kalshi is the only website where Americans are legally allowed to place buy the shares and the wagers. Yeah.
Because that would be interesting to compare what the markets were saying there.
But you know what? I say the polls could mean anything, but the betting is the wisdom of the crowd. It's what people expect to happen.
And it's what they feel in the air.
Right.
Like, I feel a very strong turn towards Trump.
And they're backing it with
And
their
it
money.
started at the assassination attempt, and it went to the RNC, and then it dipped a little during the DNC, and then the more you pay attention to the news and you go on all the news outlets, it starts to pop back up. But when do we vote? Because I want to vote day of.
I think you should vote
already
as soon as
voted.
possible.
You think early vote?
Yeah, because what did we see in Maricopa County when Kari Lake was running for governor? 216 or how many? I don't know what the number was, but it was hundreds of ballots. Ballot machines had the wrong size paper printed, so that wouldn't count the ballots. And then they were like, well, just put them in the box, I guess. Yeah, when Kari Lake was running Maricopa County, everybody shows up and they're
Why
like,
is Maricopa County always an issue?
I wonder. Gee, I wonder.
Why didn't Tony Hinchcliffe say something about Maricopa County?
He could have. But, let me tell you this. I've got some friends who have been lefties their whole lives. And I talk to them all the time. They're not super political. They're default liberal. They will post the pride flags and the BLM things. But if you ask them, like, who's the current Supreme Court justice, they're like, I don't follow any of that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're now saying, oh, no, I'm not liberal. I'm not liberal. I'm not kidding. I'm hanging out with my friend. And I assume this guy is like a liberal guy. And he's like, no, I wouldn't use that word. And I'm like, really? I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
you
true.
BLM flag posting dude, you don't want to say that anymore. And they're like, I'm a moderate guy. And I'm like, that's the Colin Wright meme that Elon Musk shared, where former liberals who thought they were liberal saw the left go nuts. And now they're like, I'm a moderate. I don't know what that is. I think that shift right there is indicative of a Trump victory. But I'm going to stress, I don't care if you live in a blue state. I don't care if you live in a red state. If you're in a swing state, obviously go vote. If you're in a blue state, go vote. Red state, go vote. Trump needs to win the popular vote.
It's exciting to vote. This is my first presidential election because I moved here from Canada.
You don't look that young.
13 years ago. It's called Benjamin Button syndrome.
No offense.
This is the first time I get to vote in a presidential election. And what a better way to pop my
Where
cherry.
do you live?
I live in Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Condolences.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
But are you in the good part of Jersey or the bad part of Jersey?
I mean, some would say the good, But
So like southern, like where it's red?
look, it's pretty red where I am, but that state we thought was turning red, and everybody went to sleep at midnight, and we woke up and it was blue.
And Christians don't want to vote either.
Just so long as you don't live by like New York, where because New Jersey has a problem with like 95 goes through the least attractive part of New Jersey, right? When you leave New York, all of the refineries.
It's because they don't want people to move to the nice places in Jersey.
It does not put its best foot forward. No. I know there are beautiful parts in New Jersey.
I live in a gorgeous lake town, and, it's beautiful. There's fishing, there's good schools. I still pay for private school, but it's lovely. It's really nice.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.